Tonight, Storm Flores sweeps across the country, causing major travel disruption and cancellations. But the Central Belt emerges largely unscathed.
I've been out to meet Storm Flores today. She batters Scotland with some record-breaking speeds for the time of year. I'll be back later on in the programme and we'll have the forecast later for you too.
Also making the headlines, stepping aside. The Deputy First Minister, Kate Forbes, becomes the latest to announce she will not stand for re-election as an MSP next year. In sport, Rangers complete the £4 million signing of winger Oliver Antman. Whoa! And from Ant-Man to Spider-Man, we're star-spotting in Glasgow as the city shuts down for production. I'm John Mackay. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. For much of this year, we've been reporting on long spells of sunshine and record temperatures. But today, at the start of August, Scotland has been hit by a storm more typical of winter. Winds of up to 80 miles an hour have been recorded on West Coast islands. But the Central Belt seems to have escaped the worst. The amber weather warning did mean disruption and a number of cancellations, though. With the full story, here's our senior reporter, Gordon Cree.
As the wind whipped up, the Royal Mile was still busy this afternoon, but the castle was closed for the day, and tonight the Royal Military Tattoo won't be making its mark.
We're supposed to go to Edinburgh Castle today, so we won't be able to do that. I think the castle is closed today, but now we're just meandering and walking the Royal Mile and seeing everything that Fringe has to offer.
It's not spoiled your visit?
No, not at all.
Yeah. We got wet in the rain, but then the wind dried us off. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Is it a bit windier than you were expecting?
It is, definitely, but it's still lovely to see the heritage and stuff like that. The atmosphere is still very lovely.
Well, the entrance for the tattoo, if you're going into it, is just here, but given how strong the winds have been scheduled to be, you can understand the prospect of going all the way up there might be a bit concerning. As some visitors battled the elements, street performers with a head for heights were tested more than ever. With much of the Fringe being indoors, most shows went ahead as planned, but a number of tented events, like here at the Ladyboys of Bangkok, had to make their structures safe and call off, as did Fringe by the Sea in North Berwick.
It is difficult in a timeline, in a crunch situation, or in the eye of the storm, to try and make decisions about what may or may not happen in the future. It's a tough call to make, so I have lots of sympathy for the events that have had to make those difficult decisions, but ultimately they're probably the right decisions.
Trees being in full leaf makes them more vulnerable to wind. This one came down in Glasgow's Knightswood.
Yeah, so this is the outcome.
While in Inverness, a van driver had a lucky escape.
Go and be at home now with my kids and stuff.
The whole country is covered by a yellow warning for wind, but a large part of Scotland, from Peebles in the south to Orkney in the north, is also under an amber weather warning. With advice to avoid non-essential travel, strong gusts saw the Queensferry crossing closed to double-decker buses, while on the railways, all trains north of central Scotland were cancelled and other services delayed. A number of lines were blocked by trees.
The damage has affected the overhead lines. That's the overhead electrical lines that sit above the rail network. We've had multiple trees that have been blown onto those electrical lines, and therefore the crews are working tirelessly to repair the damage to the network as we speak.
That meant some had to change their plans.
Can't drive, and a taxi all the way out to Coatbridge is like extortionate. I'm not paying that. So having to let pals know, oh, you might need to come and get me kind of thing.
Glasgow, it's tropical paradise, it's weather. You know what I mean? So you adapt, you improvise. You just have to go on with it, didn't you?
We were going to go to the Egyptian exhibition, but we're quite disappointed because we can't because of the storm.
Train there was not cancelled, but we were worried that the train back would be cancelled because all of them were getting cancelled at that time.
With the Highlands and the West Coast bearing the brunt of conditions, the vast majority of Calmac ferries are cancelled for the rest of the day. A day that will surely be memorable for residents in Carfin in Lanarkshire, where a herd of cows got loose after wind brought down fences.
And Gordon, some unprecedented decisions today.
Yes, John, festival season brings hundreds of thousands of people into the city, and despite it being pretty gusty, many of them are still out and about tonight. One thing they won't be doing, though, is going to the tattoo. It's cancelled. That has never happened before, aside from COVID, in its 75-year history. The zoo and the castle itself, other things closed today. Of course, a lot of those decisions made yesterday because of the forecast. The tattoo has to think not just about the people in the grandstands, but the performers and people who may be travelling. Also tonight, ongoing disruption to electricity in the Scottish Power area. We understand around 1,000 homes still off, many more in the north of the country.
And Gordon, what can we expect in the coming hours?
Well, the amber warning continues until 11 tonight as the storm continues to move out to the northeast. More of the same in the next few hours. Trains disrupted coming out of Queen Street. There's a sheet of polythene gone onto the overhead cables near Bishop Briggs, which means they can't run. ScotRail say disruption expected to continue into tomorrow. For anyone expecting exam results, there is going to be a knock-on effect on postal deliveries in some areas, which could lead to those being delivered late. Unlike the nerves of the exam candidates, though, a much more settled day in prospect for the rest of us tomorrow. John.
Gordon, thank you. The Deputy First Minister, Kate Forbes, says she will not run for re-election as an MSP next year. The Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch MSP says she doesn't want to miss any more of the precious early years of family life. Well, our political editor, Colin Mackay, has been speaking to her. And Colin, how much of a surprise is this?
It is a bit of a surprise because there was a real rush of MSPs announcing whether they were staying or going just before the summer break started, and it was assumed widely that those who had announced that they weren't leaving were staying on. But over the last few weeks, Kate Forbes has been discussing this with her family, and she's decided that she's putting them ahead of her career. Now, her daughter is 3 today. So she'll be going to nursery in the next year, then going on to school. All of that will be in Dingwall, where Kate Forbes lives. But for at least 3 days a week of that, she's going to be about 4 hours away at Parliament in Edinburgh. It's been a difficult decision. Kate Forbes told me that she didn't want to let anyone down, but ultimately she's concluded that she doesn't want to miss any more of her daughter growing up.
The choice for me, looking forward, is whether or not to stand for another 5-year term or not. And over the next 5 years, my daughter will go to school. That will mean that either I'm looking after her in Edinburgh on my own, or I am saying goodbye every week for a week. And that was what I decided I didn't want to do.
Colin, how big a loss is she to the Scottish Government?
Well, she's Deputy First Minister. She ran the leadership contest pretty close a couple of years ago. She's a significant figure within the SNP, and for her to step down after just 2 terms in Parliament, just in her mid-30s, that's a big loss for the SNP. And that's now 4 out of 11 Cabinet Ministers who are standing down at the next election. They'll continue, though, in Cabinet until that election. It's about 1/3 of SNP MSPs standing down next year. About 1/3 of all the MSPs in the Parliament, in fact, standing down. And the Lib Dems think that they are now in with a very strong chance at next year's election in Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch. But Kate Forbes told me today that this isn't about politics, this is about family. And for all the Scottish Parliament was billed as a family-friendly Parliament, it is much more so than Westminster, but I think they've got an awful lot more to do in terms of delivering childcare for MSPs. And you know, being an MSP is a tough job. It's a difficult job if you do it right.
Colin, thank you. Investigations are continuing after an 8-year-old boy was sexually assaulted last week while camping in the Highlands. The child was sleeping on his own at the Loch Ness Bay campsite in Drumnadrochid when the assault happened in the early hours of Thursday. The boy's father saw the man and raised the alarm. Police have been reviewing CCTV footage in the area. A 31-year-old man has appeared in court after a police officer was stabbed in Greenock, with the suspect attempting to flee the scene in a dinghy. Police were alerted to concerns for a man at East India Harbour at around 2 a.m. yesterday. Jake Barrett was later arrested at Rue Marina near Helensburgh. He entered no plea to charges of attempted murder, assault to severe injury and theft. It's likely to be a lot quieter in the Highlands next summer. The annual Thunder in the Glens rally that draws thousands of Harley-Davidson motorbike owners to Aviemore and the surrounding area has been postponed for 2026 for a financial review. This month's gathering goes ahead as usual.
We started off a very, very small rally for Harley owners, and it was about the members and it was about the Harley owners groups. And over the years it has really increased, you know, to thousands of people. And that's been great, but that brings challenges. And we want to look at how do we get back to what it's really all about, which is riding more bikes and being a bike club.
The final countdown to the Oasis gig at Edinburgh is on, but how much do you know about the Manchester band? Glasgow Clyde College has launched a masterclass to educate new fans about the brothers before they take to the stage in Murrayfield on Friday. Our reporter Raheem Cham went along to roll with it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ballach was a moment of music history. But Murrayfield in 2009 was the last time Scottish fans saw their indie idols up close.
The Gallagher brothers are coming back to Scotland, and since they peaked in the early 90s, I missed out on that era. So I'm joining this masterclass to know the backstory of their success and what they're really about.
And with 60 Oasis concerts between the lecturers, they had everything we needed to know.
So we've got lots and lots of information for some of the fans who maybe didn't see the band the first time round, reliving some of the most iconic gigs. The albums, the singles, the music, just to really ignite that spark.
Generations of fans all gripped as the lecturer recounted Liam and Noel's discovery in Glasgow, long before they were supersonic.
Alan McGee was at King Tut's that evening and promptly signed Oasis, pictured backstage here at King Tut's.
And from small beginnings in Scotland to headlining stadiums.
It's estimated that 2.5 million people applied for tickets for those Nebworth shows.
And of course, the Brit-pop battle with Blur in the mid-90s has become the stuff legend.
Oasis dismissing Blur as Chaz and Dave chimney sweep music. Blur referring to their opponents as Oasis Co. Very cheeky.
Just when fans thought there would be loads more, with fame and siblings came friction, and in 2009, the band was no more.
I never really knew how they came together and how they broke up. I always wanted to know how that happened.
It's quite interesting to get a backstory on them. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't kind of know through their music, so it was good to get a bigger aspect on it.
Oasis is the soundtrack to my life, basically. Slide Away was my wedding, first dance at my wedding.
I've seen Noel and Liam separately loads of times, but I've been waiting on this reunion coming for a long, long time.
Some might say you've missed out on the duo's most historic Scottish concerts, like Ballach in 1996 or Edinburgh in 2009. But don't look back in anger. Be like me. Go get yourself a pocket jacket, a bucket hat. I'm not sure about the classes, but I'll see you down there in the front. No more standing on the shoulders of giants. Go there and rock on. Raheem Cham, STV News.
And we're on the lookout for stories on all things Oasis this week. Are you travelling far to the concert? Have you a tale around your ticket? Are you a superfan? Please email your story at stv.tv and tell us all about it. Well, I'm not going to use an Oasis song to hand you to Rahman for the sport. I mean, that'd be way too obvious. So what's the story?
How long did you think about that?
Oh, dear. That's all I did.
Why is Kellyanne not on? It's a Monday night. The story for me tonight is pronunciations, John, European draws. Scottish clubs have found out. But before then, news of a Rangers signing.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Good evening. Oliver Antman has revealed it's been a hectic few days, but the winger says he's delighted to have completed his £4 million move to Rangers from Dutch side Go Ahead Eagles. The Finnish international, who's training with the squad right now, has signed a 4-year contract to become the club's 9th summer signing. Russell Martin is hopeful the 23-year-old will be registered in time for their Champions League qualifier against Victoria Pilsen. Well, Scottish clubs have learned who they'll face in the playoff rounds of their respective European competitions should they reach that stage. Celtic will take on either Karat Almaty or Slovan Bratislava. Brendan Rodgers' side hammered Slovan 5-1 in the tournament last season. Should Rangers defeat Victoria Pilsen in the third qualifying round, they'll face Salzburg or Club Brugge in the Champions League playoffs. In the Conference League, if Hibs progress past Partizan Belgrade, they'll play either AEK Larnaca or Legia Warsaw. Dundee United could face AIK Stockholm or FC Gör if they make it to the playoffs. And in the Europa League playoffs, Aberdeen will take on the winners of FCSB and FC Drita.
First leg at home team will be Celtic FC from Scotland.
So they will play against either Karat Almaty or Slovan Bratislava.
So it's either opposition from Kazakhstan or Slovakia that stand in Celtic's way for a place in the league phase of the Champions League. Speaking ahead of the draw, the Celtic boss said,
"We'll be ready for the games. You know, whenever they come, we'll be ready. Players are working very hard, and as I said, you always know they're always tense games, these, but we're in a good place, and we'll take that game on when it comes."
Kind of embracing it and knowing what the challenge is going to be. You're coming up against opponents that aren't from here, and I'm sure the boys will be up for it.
McCowan played a crucial role on Flag Day at Celtic Park. The midfielder came off the bench to score the only goal against St Mirren in the 87th minute. Rangers are preparing for their Champions League qualifier against Victoria Pilsen at Ibrox tomorrow. After their draw against Motherwell on Saturday, Russell Martin questioned the mentality of some of his players and told some to drop their egos. At his pre-match media conference today, Martin explained why he made those comments.
It all comes from a place of love, really, and care for them. We are here, and myself, Gilly, the coaches, we are here ultimately for the players. If it has a detrimental effect on certain individuals, then they're probably not the ones that we want to come on the journey with us. So I think if it has a detrimental effect on you and it hurts you to the point where you feel singled out, then there's probably an issue with you being all in at this place and this club and with us.
Hibs started their Premiership campaign with a 2-1 win away to Dundee yesterday, with Kieran Bowie scoring both. David Gray's side are away to Partizan Belgrade in the first leg of their third-round Conference League qualifier on Thursday.
It's just keeping that momentum going. We started well, which is all you can ask for, not getting carried away at all. We need to keep working hard. There's areas we need to improve, but we gave ourselves the best possible chance going over there to look forward to another fantastic European night, which is the rewards, as I keep saying, for their efforts for last season.
Meanwhile, defender Lewis Miller has joined Blackburn Rovers for an undisclosed fee. Tony Bloom believes Hearts can split the old firm this season. Bloom, who has invested £10 million into the club, was speaking to the media today, live now, to Jamie Borthwick, who's at Tynecastle, and he was putting the questions to Bloom. And Jimmy, Tony Bloom isn't lacking in confidence and ambition.
No, he certainly isn't, Raman. Tony Bloom is a man absolutely convinced of his project here. He fully believes the success he's had at Brighton and at Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium proves that Hearts can challenge Celtic and Rangers. He wants a Premiership title and Champions League football here at Tynecastle within the next 10 years. And he also believes that a challenge can come as soon as this season. Speaking to us, the media, this morning, Bloom said, "I think we've got a very good chance of at least being second this season. But we know what it's like in football. There's a lot of volatility. I genuinely believe this current Hearts squad's very strong, and every season it will develop and get stronger. So I think we can, even from this season, challenge for every tournament that we are in."
And Jamie, a big night for Hearts on the pitch.
Yeah, it's huge, Rahman. A lot of momentum built up over the last few weeks for Derek McInnes. He's up against his old team Aberdeen tonight, and he really wants to feel that positive energy coming from the Tynecastle stands this evening.
We've got to try and be something here at Hearts this season that other teams don't want us to be. You know, we don't want opposition managers' mantra and speeches being about the Hearts, let the Hearts fans turn on them if they don't get an early goal. We want to make sure this is something that we are proper collective, real connection for the team on the pitch and the support in the stand that we have got. The fans have got to feed off of what they're seeing.
Well, as if there wasn't enough going on around here, Hearts have also confirmed the signing of Icelandic midfielder Thomas Bent Magnusson this evening. In terms of the match, Benny Beningame is an injury doubt, but that's the only one for Derek McInnes. It's a big night here at Tynecastle, a new era beginning for Hearts. They take on Aberdeen with Tony Bloom watching on from the main stands, and the kick-off here is at 8 p.m.
It's all happening at Tynecastle. Jamie, thanks very much for that. Well, Falkirk and Livingston showed their fighting spirit on their return to the Premiership. The Bairns twice came from behind to draw 2-2 against Dundee United yesterday. And Livingston fought back from 2-0 down to earn a point against Kilmarnock, who had George Stangers sent off before Livy's comeback. And finally, there was success for the Scottish athletes at the British Athletics Championships in Birmingham yesterday in the 5,000 metres. Josh Kerr coasted to victory, with Kerr deciding not to run in the 1,500 metres. Fellow Scot Neil Gourley finished first in this race. And there was a shock in the women's 1,500 metres as Livingston's Sarah Calvert powered past Laura Muir to win the race. And one final piece of football news before I go. Leanne Crichton has been confirmed as the new head coach of the Rangers women's team. That's all I spoke for me tonight. See you again tomorrow.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Well, back to our top story now, and Storm Flores. Sean has been storm watching all day and has followed it up to Fraserburgh in Aberdeenshire. And Sean, it's looking wild there. Well, back to our top story now, and Storm Flores. Sean has been storm watching all day and has followed it up to Fraserburgh in Aberdeenshire. And Sean, it's looking wild there.
Oh, John, it is so horrendous. Even if this was December or January, I would say this is a good storm. But considering this is the middle of Scottish summer during the school holidays, and this is what we've got, horrendous conditions. We've had gusts of wind, record gusts for the time of year across Argyll and Bute today. Tyree getting a gust of over 70 miles per hour. We've been over 80 miles per hour parts of the Western Isles today. Gusts of 75 along the road in Lossiemouth and Kinloss. But here on the North Aberdeenshire coast, as the low pressure centre, it is just to the north of us at the moment. If I put my back to the wind, the low pressure centre is always on the left hand side of you, so it's to the north of us at the moment, and as that drifts its way over Orkney and Shetland later on, we could get even stronger gusts. Can you believe it? Even stronger gusts in parts of the north of the country. But thank goodness for all of us, the winds will be easing down through tonight. But I was going to give you the weather forecast for here, but the weather is so horrendous. I'm going to throw back to Philip, who's in a nice warm dry studio. So here's Philip with the forecast.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors STV weather.
Well, of course, today we've seen Storm Flores crossing the country, bringing with it some damaging and disruptive winds. We've seen gusts up to 79 miles per hour on South Uist and in Kinloss. That will gradually clear away to the northeast overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Things look like they will be settling down a bit come the middle of the week, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Back to just now into the overnight period. The heaviest rainfall and the strongest winds are confined mainly to the north and the northeast, but we do still have an amber weather warning in force until 10 o'clock tonight, so it will remain quite gusty, blustery overnight. We're seeing a steady feed of scattered heavy showers moving in from the northwest, mainly confined to central and western parts. Temperature-wise overnight, lows of around 10 or 11 degrees Celsius. Now we hold on to the strong winds as we head into tomorrow, but this time gusts of around 40 to 50 miles per hour, mainly around coastal parts. We've still got these heavy scattered showers moving in from the north, those blustery showers, but they do lose their intensity throughout the course of the afternoon. We'll start to see some more drier and brighter spells between those showers, with temperatures reaching highs of 18 or 19 degrees Celsius, but it will be feeling a lot cooler out and about because of the strength of those winds. Then looking ahead to Wednesday, things will settle down. We have this ridge of high pressure building across Scotland, so lighter winds, a drier day to come, and highs of 19. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV weather.
And finally, it's been an action-packed weekend in Glasgow as filming began for the latest SpiderMan film. The city centre is once again transformed into downtown New York. Vidushi Tavari reports.
It's far from the traffic we are used to seeing.
Whoa!
Superstar Tom Holland donned the famous suit as filming began for the latest Spider-Man movie. Even taking a break to greet some eager fans.
Hey, nice to meet you. Can I get some with you, please? Of course you can, yeah. Thank you so much.
Filming was supposed to continue today, but that turned into damp squib. Well, just yesterday, the street was lined with hundreds of fans eagerly trying to catch a glimpse of Spider-Man. But it's a much different scene here today. As you can see behind me, some of the props like the classic New York taxi and the American flags are still out here on Bothwell Street. But the majority of the set has been packed up in anticipation of Storm Flores. Despite missing out on the action, those who came to watch weren't disappointed.
It's super cool, and like I get it because it's like I think they're setting it up to look like New York, so it's like I see the similarities. It's really cool though.
You think it looks like New York?
If you squint your eyes enough.
It's like so cool, like being able just to walk around and see the set and like, you know.
We were here yesterday morning as well, and there's so many people. It's nice to see what this can make and become into a big, huge movie, so it's quite cool.
While weather warnings are still in place, filming is expected to pick back up tomorrow, all with a bit of help from your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. Vidushi Tavari, STV News in Glasgow.
That's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.